The Eternal Art Gallery, the small town of Blackridge, had always been quiet, almost too quiet. But that changed when an enigmatic artist named Victor LaRoux arrived and set up his grand exhibition, the Eternal Art Gallery. Word spread fast, drawing crowds from far and wide. It wasn't just the artistry that mesmerized people, it was the statues themselves. They were hauntingly lifelike. Every wrinkle, every strand of hair, even the expression in their eyes looked as if they had been frozen in time. Some visitors whispered in awe, while others shuddered, an unshakable sense of unease creeping over them. Among the visitors was investigative journalist Daniel Hayes. He had an eye for uncovering the uncanny, and something about these statues felt disturbingly off. He watched as LaRoux welcomed guests with a mysterious smile, his hands almost reverently touching the statues as he spoke about his art. One particular sculpture caught Daniel's attention, a woman with flowing auburn hair, her face contorted in a silent scream. The craftsmanship was beyond perfection, yet something about it unsettled him deeply. He bent closer, his fingers tracing the ceramic-like skin. It was firm, yet beneath it, he swore he felt something softer. "LaRoux, what do you use to make them?" Daniel asked, turning to the artist. LaRoux's pale lips curled into a smirk. A true artist never reveals his secrets. That night, Daniel returned to his rented room, but couldn't sleep. His mind replayed everything he had seen. The expressions on the statues' faces. They weren't just artful, they were genuine. His research began the next morning. Strangely, there was no record of LaRoux before his arrival in Blackridge. No schooling, no previous exhibits, no history. It was as if he had materialized out of thin air. More disturbingly, Daniel stumbled upon missing persons reports many from towns LaRoux had previously visited. He cross-checked the dates and realized something horrifying. The number of missing persons matched the number of statues displayed in LaRoux's past exhibitions. Determined, Daniel snuck into the Eternal Art Gallery that night. Armed with a flashlight, he moved past the statues, their vacant eyes gleaming under the dim light. Every step he took sent shivers down his spine. Then he found a door marked private at the back of the gallery. Inside, the air was thick with chemicals. Jars of strange liquids lined the walls. A large vat stood in the center, the remnants of wax floating on its surface. But the real horror was what lay beyond it, a row of corpses, each carefully arranged, as if waiting for their turn. The realization struck Daniel like a train. LaRoux wasn't sculpting statues, he was preserving human bodies, dipping them in layers of wax and ceramic to give them a lifelike appearance. The expressions weren't crafted, they were real, frozen in their final moments of terror. A sudden creak made Daniel whirl around. LaRoux stood in the doorway, his face calm, but his eyes burning with an eerie intensity. "Oh, Mr. Hayes, I had a feeling you would be curious." Daniel reached for his phone, but LaRoux was faster. He lunged forward, knocking the device from Daniel's grip. "You see," LaRoux continued, "art is meant to be eternal. Flash rots, but with my technique, people live forever." Daniel fought back, shoving LaRoux against the table. Jars crashed, spilling their grotesque contents. Seizing the moment, Daniel grabbed his phone and ran. He barreled through the gallery, past the silent witnesses of LaRoux's madness, and burst into the street. The night air was cold against his sweat-soaked skin. He ran until he reached the police station, gasping for breath as he spilled out the horror he had uncovered. The officers were skeptical at first, but Daniel's desperation convinced them to investigate. By morning, the authorities arrived. LaRoux had vanished, but his collection, the evidence of his twisted craft, remained. The gallery was shut down, and the statues were examined. The truth horrified the world. Forensic teams worked tirelessly, extracting DNA samples, identifying victims, and revealing years of grisly artistry. News channels swarmed Blackridge, and the media branded LaRoux the butcher of wax. The town, once quiet, became infamous overnight. A week later, Daniel received an anonymous package. Inside was a single note: "Art never dies." Alongside it was a ceramic mask crafted to look exactly like his own face. Somewhere, in some dark corner of the world, Victor LaRoux was preparing his next masterpiece, and Daniel knew that this story was far from over.